good morning there, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in for today's update video. And this is your update video for Tuesday, October 10th, 2023. I hope your week is off to a good start. As you may know by the date on the calendar, we are in the week of the Fall Festival. So as you can imagine, today's update video is going to include a lot of information for the Fall Festival. Yesterday, or I should say last night, I scheduled a post for Facebook that included some in-depth information just for the band, for the production team, everybody involved. I included some links in there as well. To some important documents, essentially the itinerary of events, the stage layout, some of the inputs and outputs for the audio stuff, things like that. That's a good resource. If you want to hop over there, you can get some good information. I'm also putting in this video some information that I think will be helpful to you. And I'll talk a little more about that as we go through today's update. So I've got three things I want to walk through. One of them, the first thing, the most important thing, is the Fall Festival, which is coming up this weekend. So we'll go through all of that information. And then I've got two more things that are going to be coming your way kind of in the weeks following the Fall Festival. And I want to keep that in front of you, though there's really nothing that's terribly actionable on either one of those things at this moment. So let's jump in with both hands and feet here. And for the Fall Festival, there are, I guess, 5 things that I want to walk through and go into a little more depth. I'm first going to start with the itinerary and talk about that. I'll then talk about how we're going to lay out the stage area and the front of house area. I want to go through the orders of service again. I've got one kind of big task that I still need someone to own and to complete for me. And then the final thing, we'll talk about this Wednesday night's midweek vocal rehearsal. All right, so let's start with number 1, our itinerary. And we'll go over here to the screenshot and take a look at a rundown here. Like I said, this was included for you in the documents last night. There's also a link to it. I'll show you that link here in just a moment, but you can find that link in the description below. So let's start. I kind of want to touch each one of these things in a little bit of depth. I know I've gone through this before, but as we get up here to the week of, I know we're all going to start kind of putting our minds into the details and the nitty gritty. And so I think it'll be helpful for me to walk through this in a little bit of depth here. Let me get my video out of the way so you can really see what's going on. So Friday, this will not affect most of you, but I know that there are a few of you who are helping out with the Friday setup. And just so you kind of know the timeline, around 9 a.m., we'll start bringing in some of the core pieces of equipment. The generator, which will run all of the equipment, and then the tents, which will house a lot of the equipment. Those should come in somewhere between 8 and 9 o'clock on Friday morning. Following, we will then start to bring in the video, the stage, and the audio at 10 a.m. At lunch on Friday, those of you who are involved, we will have lunch catered. We are planning to have Chick-fil-A actually cater our lunch for that day. And we'll break around 12 p.m., pick up again probably around 12:30 or 1 o'clock, and continue to set everything up as far as stage, video, audio, front of house, all of that is concerned. Now, on Friday morning, I've got a group of students from the MCS Chapel Band who are coming in to help out. And actually, I've got one coming in the afternoon as well. I'm planning for them to provide quite a bit of assistance with the front of house area, getting it set up and kind of established, and doing a few kind of ancillary tasks. But there will be some things that I mentioned through here that if they don't get to them, then I'm going to have you guys kind of help me throughout the weekend get those things put in place. All right, back here to the itinerary. We will end the day, everybody who's involved with setup on Friday will end around 5 o'clock p.m. and we'll have dinner over in the craft services tent. And we're going to have some of our volunteers on the worship team provide the catering for that. And plan to end the day probably around 5:30 p.m. that day, kind of depending on, how the weather cooperates with us. Okay, next, let's go to Saturday. On Saturday, the day will start at 8 o'clock a.m. This is call time and breakfast. Now, as I mentioned last week, make sure that you are in the tent ready to go at 8 o'clock a.m., that all of your equipment's been dropped off on stage. If you have equipment, your instrument, things like that. Make sure everything's on stage and that you are in the tent ready to go by 8 o'clock. That means you probably need to plan for an arrival time sometime between 7:30 and 7:45, depending on how much gear you have to unload, and then make your way over to the tent and be ready to go. Not pulling in at 8 o'clock, not parking at 8 o'clock, but in the tent ready to go at 8 o'clock a.m. And then we will go and begin sound check then at 8:30 a.m. on Saturday. Now, you may be wondering, you're seeing here that we've got the sound check is for the Sunday morning team. And then you'll see we're going to have a rehearsal, basically a 3-hour rehearsal then for Sunday morning and a sound check. Why is that? Why are we doing that? Well, the reason we're doing that is Sunday morning is going to include the largest number of volunteers who are going to participate. And the Sunday morning team, we will use that time to kind of get everything locked in as far as the mix is concerned on the ears. Remember, this is kind of... This is a setup that's similar to a tour in that we are starting from scratch. So our in-ear mix is going to start from scratch. Our house mix is starting from scratch. We're going to be playing in an environment that we've never or that we've not played in, I guess, for 2 years now. But it's going to be an unusual environment. And it's going to take some getting used to, and we just need margin for that to happen. That's why we're meeting for 3 hours. And to mention, we've got a lot of repertoire to get through for the Sunday morning service. So I'm bringing in the Sunday morning team for that. We will all rehearse until about 11:30. I would like the worship night team to arrive at 11 o'clock and be ready to go. And then we'll all eat lunch together in the craft services tent at 11:30. Okay, so Sunday morning team, plan to grab some lunch there. We're having it catered. We've already paid for everything for catering. Plan to stay, have some lunch, and then you can head out after that. Worship night team, go ahead and come early so that you're ready to go. We'll have some lunch together. We'll all transition, and then worship night team, we will get started right at 12 o'clock p.m. with rehearsal. Now, we've got a 2-hour window to rehearse all of our songs, but that's okay because things will be dialed in pretty well and ready to go by that point. All right, so we'll rehearse up until the fall festival time at 2 o'clock p.m., and then we'll break for 2 hours so that you can participate, or if your families are coming, you can go and participate with the fall festival. We also don't want rehearsal happening while they're trying to coordinate everything on the fall festival side. Then at 4 o'clock p.m., we will do our worship night. I've blocked out about an hour and 15 minutes for that. However, as you'll see when we get to the plans for worship night, there's only 45 minutes planned. And we've done that just so we have some margin. One of the things that I found whenever it comes to including families and including kids in a worship night, keeping the time around 45 minutes and even less if possible, but around 45 minutes is usually most effective for engagement, because we're going to have a wide range of ages there and a wide range of attention spans, as you can imagine. But we still do want to take that time to worship together as a church family. immediately following worship night, the worship night team and everybody who's on site, again, our catering staff here, they will be providing dinner in the craft services tent. I would like for all of you to stay and be a part of it. I just realized you're just looking at me here. Let's go back over here and you can look at the itinerary. Okay, so like I said, 2 p.m. here for worship night rehearsal, and then 12 p.m. for worship night rehearsal, 2 p.m. for fall festival, 4 p.m. for the worship night, and then dinner around 5 to 5:15, wrapping up around 5:30 or 6 o'clock. All right, and then on Sunday morning, call time for everybody for the Sunday morning team is at 7:30 a.m. And again, our catering staff will be providing breakfast. Same thing as Saturday. Make sure you're in the tent at 7:30. All of your stuff has been dropped off on stage because we are going to start rehearsal right at 8 o'clock a.m. sharp. We need that time to be able to run through everything. As I've said here, we have one shot at the service on Sunday morning. We don't have 3 shots at it. We don't have a rehearsal and then a rehearsal service, and then, I'm just kidding. 8:30 is not a rehearsal service officially. Sometimes unofficially, but it's officially not a rehearsal service. So we're going then 8 o'clock to 9:15 for rehearsal. We'll do our typical pre-production meeting on stage with everybody. And then we are going to start at 9:45 a.m. with our pre-service music, and we're going to do some announcements and things like that at that time. And then, of course, the service starts then right at 10:30 a.m. Immediately following the service, our men's ministry, they are catering a cookout. They're going to be cooking throughout the morning, so you're going to be smelling that while the service is going on. I want you guys to take 30 or 45 minutes and be a part of that. Get some food, enjoy some time together. And then around 12:15 or 12:30, we will begin to load everything out, load the stage out. I'm hoping that'll take somewhere between 2.5 to 3 hours for all of that. So we'll have to pack up, of course, all of our equipment that we take out there. We'll need to pack up the audio, the video, the staging. We'll need to, basically that's everything there. Pack up kind of the catering stuff as well and get that back inside. As you can imagine, that's a lot of work, and the more hands we have, the more quickly and efficiently that will go. Those of you who stayed to help last week move everything down to the chapel, you know how much equipment we have there. I'm going to put together, of those who stay to help, I'll put together a team of probably 4 to 6 of you just to roll equipment back into the sanctuary and kind of get it set back up. I'll have you take those camera platforms back in, get them set up and ready to go, because that's kind of a multi-person job. That's not really something that one person should do. You could do it, but one person shouldn't do it. Get those camera platforms set back up, kind of get the amps back on stage. I'll get some of you keyboard guys to help get the keyboards set back up and kind of roughly in place. And just get a few things packed away so that next week we can kind of quickly get back up and going. On Tuesday night, the school is doing a variety show, so we have a really quick turnaround here because I do believe they're doing a rehearsal on Monday. So we're going to need as many hands as possible to get things flipped back around and ready to go for the next week of events that we've got here in the sanctuary. So we need a lot of hands with that. We probably need at least 10 to 15 people pulling audio stuff, video stuff, and then probably another 10 to 15 people helping with stage. Those of you who've been involved in the past, you know that it takes a lot of hands to make all these things come together. So please do plan to stay. As I mentioned in yesterday's post, if you can't stay, I need to know that ASAP. Please text me and let me know. If you're participating, I'm assuming you're staying to help. So please do text me and let me know that as soon as possible. Okay, very good. So that's the itinerary. I think I've hit everything as far as that's concerned. The main things, just be aware of those call times and be early. Plan to be early. Don't make us wait on you. There is a lot that has gone into planning this event out. and I have tried to make it as easy as possible for you to be involved. And so one of the ways that you can make your involvement, I guess, as effective as possible is just be early, be prepared, and be willing to jump in and help out. So, and the thing is, so many of you, what I'm very grateful for, I know they're still trying to find a lot of volunteers to help with the parking lot stuff and some on the Fall Fest side. And I'm very grateful for our worship team volunteers because largely you guys have been locked in for like 3 months now. And I'm so grateful for that. All of you who I've connected with, who are participating, you've been very eager and very excited about the opportunity. So I'm very thankful. I mentioned these things just to establish expectations and to establish the culture that I would like around this. This is not I'm not trying to chastise anybody because you guys largely are very good at being early and being prepared and everything like that. So thank you for that. Okay, let's talk through. I'm going to go over here and discuss the layout of the stage. Now, as I do so, I'm going to show you a document. This is a document that's linked below. It's called FBM 2023 Fall Festival Production Documents. If that is not the most inspiring title you've ever heard in your life, are you even alive? So, this document essentially is a combined document of all the documents, of all the information I've been sharing, from the itinerary to the input-output list, which if you see I/O list, that's what that is, inputs and outputs. It's basically a spreadsheet for the audio folks. That is included here in the production documents and the stage layouts. So I'll scroll through here really quick. Here's your itinerary that we just looked at. Here's your ins and outs. And down here at the bottom, this will probably be helpful information for a lot of you. This is the layout of the stage area, and this will give you an idea of where you're going to be on stage so that you, excuse me, you don't have to ask me or ask someone else, hey, where do I need to go? You just go to where your spot is here. Now, vocals, yes, we will kind of have to figure you guys out. But typically, Randy will make a list, an in-ear monitor and a vocal mic list before the weekends. So he will be a good reference on that, and he'll kind of let you guys know where you're going to need to stand then on Saturday and Sunday. So with this layout, if you're looking here at the bottom where the vocals are, obviously that's where the audience is going to be. And then we'll just set up kind of from there all the way back. So we'll have vocals, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, all of you folks up front. The second tier here will have bass, and then we'll have drums and keys. And then the final tier back here will have horn sections. I say tier, I mean, it's not like you guys are going to be elevated or anything. We'll all pretty much be on the same plane, minus the drums and keys, which will be on their usual kind of platforms. So, One thing to note here, I've tried to lay this, I've included measurements as far as where things get laid out. Now, those of you on Saturday and Sunday, this is probably not going to affect you much, but those serving on Friday, if you're helping out with the layout, this will just be helpful for you to kind of know how roughly things are laid out, which I bought new toys for this past summer. I've got my little measuring reel, and what fell over here earlier was this 200-foot measuring tape. So, I kind of geeked out a little bit whenever it comes to those things. These are always helpful things to have around, but this is my favorite tape measure right here. How cool is that? Look at that thing. That thing is sweet. Anyway, just geeking out about measuring things. But follow those. It's pretty close, and it helps everything be symmetrical. Okay, finally, this is the front of house area layout. So there will be a big 20 by 30 foot tent over the front of house area. Those who were around last summer when we were in the gym for the remodel, summer of 2022, you'll remember kind of how the front of house area was set up. This is going to be similar to that, where we'll have audio projection, and then we'll have like a LED video wall processor here. And then we'll have camera 1. This will be different. We'll have camera 1 and camera 2 on either side of that. And then, as we did last summer, we'll have broadcast kind of set up here on the back side. So again, I've laid this out with measurements so you guys kind of know what that's going to look like. But those of you helping with the setup aspect, I think that will be really helpful information for you. So be sure to reference that document. Okay, let's see where we are here in the notes. We'll go through orders of service. That will be helpful information, and we'll keep plugging away here because I know we're getting on in time. Let's go here to Saturday. Okay, Saturday we'll start with Glorious Day and Yahweh. Then we'll have a welcome and greeting. Scripture, okay? Anywhere you see scripture, those of you doing scriptures, I've put your names in, so be sure to check and make sure. What I'm envisioning there is that you will lead the congregation in reciting that scripture with you. I have put the text exactly as it will show up here in, if you click on the item in Planning Center and go to detail, you'll see that I've put the all of the text in there that you will see on the monitor. Practice reciting those between now and then. Just practice saying the words so you know the flow, and you know you'll know what to expect whenever you get on stage there. Okay. Then we've got God is for us. This is our God. And then we'll have a prayer time for our congregation. And then we will show a short video from Psalm 16. Another song we'll do, Christ Our Hope in Life and Death, led by Mallory. And then she's going to lead us in reciting all of Psalm 91, which again I've put inside of the detail section there in Planning Center. Okay, we'll then do Trust in God, Jesus Play It At All. One final scripture led by Amanda from Psalm 150. And then we'll close everything out with Great Things at the end of the service. Okay, going over to Sunday morning, I've mentioned this before, but we're going to do 15 minutes of pre-service music. You Have Made Me Glad, Christ Is All in All, and New Name Written Down in Glory. We'll then go, and the only thing that will change here, that you'll see change throughout the week, is I'm going to insert a call to worship that I'll probably have Joe lead here in this spot. We'll then go into praise and rejoice, and then welcome and greeting. Then we'll have Leah leading All I Have Is Christ, Amanda Ballard leading Firm Foundation, and then we will do an actual offertory spot. I've mentioned this in weeks past, but those who are newer, you may not have been here in the past when we've done a specific offertory spot. Pre-2020, we actually collected the offering during the service, and we would do kind of a reflection song during that time, and that's what we're going to do this weekend as well. And we'll have Joe sing Trust in God during that time. We'll then have our bumper video for the book series that we've been doing already, and then go into the message. We'll do an invitation time. I believe Tom's going to have everyone come forward, or invite people to come forward. But we will still do Christ's Assurance, Steady Anchor. I'm planning to do all of that for the invitation spot. Benediction, and then we'll do a reprise here of praise. Now, those of you who are with the band here, take a look at the attachments. I did not create a new, since this is kind of a one-off thing, I didn't create a new arrangement in Planning Center. What I did was I attached just a rehearsal track here that says Praise Walkout. Essentially what this is going to be is we'll pick up at the bridge and play from the bridge to the end of the song of praise. Okay, and then we'll be finished there. Great. All right. One thing that I need, this is number 4 here today under the Fall Festival. One thing that I could use some help with is we have flags that are going out to the different entrances, and they're going to mark off the parking lots. I have some of those flags, or the big feathery flags, that need to be set up on Friday afternoon. Again, that's something that I'll probably have our students from the MCS Chapel Band help me get prepped and get ready to go. But I actually need somebody, and it probably would be good to have somebody who has like a pickup truck who they could put the flags in the back, drive to the locations around the campus, and set them out. If you've got some margin in your schedule on Friday afternoon and could come, I would say after 3:30 p.m. The only reason I say after 3:30 p.m. is that's after school lets out. If you've been around here around 3 p.m. on a weekday, you know what I'm talking about. School pickup is like, don't come anywhere near the building during those times. It is they have it well orchestrated and it's impressive, but it is you will get lost in the chaos of that. Okay, so after 3:30 p.m. on Friday, I need somebody to come and to drop off, set those flags up. Please reach out to me if you can, if you are the person that can do that. Thank you so much. A final thing here under Fall Festival, we will for sure have a midweek vocal rehearsal tomorrow night for the Sunday morning team. Worship night, Saturday night team, do not come to this rehearsal. This is just for the Sunday morning team. We will have a midweek vocal rehearsal tomorrow night. Okay, so come from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock p.m. I'm really going to focus on those first 3 songs. Those are songs that we've not been doing on a regular basis, and I want to make sure that we are locked in on our harmonies for those first 3 songs. Okay, make note of that, please. All right, that is pretty much everything with the Fall Festival. Last week's video, I went into a lot more depth as far as the layout of the grounds and the parking and all of that stuff. If you need that information, I've linked to last week's video below in the description. Just click below, go check that out. Also, I've included a link, I believe I did. Yes, I included a link that is that video walkthrough that I did from Lot E to Lot C, walking from the visitors lot. We don't say visitors, we say guests. From the volunteer lot. That's the V word I was looking for. Walking from the volunteer lot in Lot E, which is the parking lot at the high school, to Lot C, which is where the stage will be set up. So if you need that visual tutorial, go take a look at that. Okay? Good. 2 more things real quick. We are at like 28 minutes here. So 2 more things. Number 1, next Sunday, October 22nd, the choir will be leading in the Sunday morning service, which I'm very thrilled about. So choir, make sure that you guys are there ready to participate. And let me encourage you, choir, to participate. We were missing several of you who have sang with us in the past last time, and I missed you guys. I please plan to participate this time because we want a good, strong team in there. All right, and we've got quite a few. I'm looking here at those who are signed up. We've probably got 15 or 20 so far signed up. So yeah, if you've not signed up, go into Planning Center, come be a part of it. We'll do just a super quick overview, just so you know the songs. We will start with This Is Our God, led by Sheila, Great Things, Come Behold the Wondrous Mystery, Yet Not I, But Through Christ in Me. And then choir, you will not come back for the invitation, but for the invitation, we will do The Goodness of Jesus. Those keys, I'm still working out keys with those who are leading. They should be pretty close right there, but keep an eye on that. And of course, I'll be in touch next week with even more information. But choir, the important thing is you will rehearse with the vocal team midweek next week, October, I don't know the date, whatever, 7 days past October 11th is. October 19th. October 19th, that Wednesday night, you guys will be rehearsing with the vocal team. 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock p.m. in the sanctuary. Make sure to note that. And vocal team, make sure to note that rehearsal will be in the sanctuary. Final thing today, we are still planning to do a worship team party on November 3rd, which crazy to think that November 3rd is like quickly barreling down on us. So make sure that's blocked out in your calendar. I'll get you some more information. We're still kind of planning that out, but make sure that's blocked out in your calendar, and we'll plan a fun night to just celebrate and have some fun together as a team. All right, everybody. That is, let me double check my notes here, but I believe that is everything that you need to know. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to me this week. Comment below, and I'll be in touch. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to this weekend. You guys take care, and I'll see you then.